Hello, my friends. How are you? Happy freaking Friday to you. Oh my goodness. Let me just tell you, I feel so freaking exhausted. My name is Natasha. I am the creator and founder of the Glow Up Method, and I'm so excited that you're here with me today. My goodness, I literally just woke up from a nap. I brushed my teeth and went to the bathroom, but here I am. I was up last night until past 1 a.m. with my oldest son chatting away. And I wanted to continue the conversation, but I was like, honestly, at this point, I was like, I am so tired. I need to go to sleep. And I think literally you walked out the door and I crashed. I was gone. I still woke up at 6, but I was non-functional. Like my body was super sore from the workouts. Like I haven't like slept in or rested since I got home from Dallas late Monday night. And so like I just was like, it isn't happening today. And I mustered up whatever energy I could in the morning and did my run and did some writing and I did my meditating and it was just a struggle bus. And then I had my lunch and I thought, okay, cool, that will energize me. Negatory. It made me go right fast to sleep. I was like, good night. I was 15-minute nap, but I literally after 15 minutes woke up and was like, I'm still exhausted. So I opted to sleep, which on one turn, I feel a little and a bit better. But on another turn, I have this overwhelming feeling of so much to do. And there's some time sensitive things that put this sense of urgency. Plus the fact that I was out of town and my class that I'm in, there was now it's compounded. I brought all my homework assignments and I brought the stuff. But when I was on vacation, I was like, honestly, I just want to be on vacation. I don't want to sit here and do work and things like that. I'm only here a limited amount of time and I can take some extra time in my daily life to make up for it. But, when you have this busy life that's so filled, packed, and now you're adding things from yesterday and the day before yesterday, it's tiring. And so today I spent a lot of time thinking about habits and change and productivity. And I was thinking today, I was so tired, but once I started running, I really started getting some energy and some clarity. I was really feeling a little bit of overwhelm, due to the fact that there was so many, over a week's worth of assignments that I was behind now. And I was like, gosh, it's crazy to believe it's in a week. And then compounded, where my son wants to go to this competition one more time. It's the last one of the year. That's in person. It's a great opportunity for him, but it's also in an entirely different country. It's not even you just fly into the main city and then from there you Uber to a hotel. No, it's planes, trains, and automobiles, because it's you fly into one airport, yeah, you gotta take an Uber or taxi or whatever over to the train station, then you gotta get on the train, then from the train station you gotta get to the city, and when you get there you gotta get in another Uber or taxi or whatever it is, then you gotta get to the hotel, and will they even check an 18-year-old? So it's a lot of moving parts. So it's very stressful to think about oh my gosh, I'm not even adjusted to being back home from the little trip we went just now to compound and be let's run it back and do it again internationally is kind of crazy in some aspects. But on another, I'm I'd really like to help to make this possible for him. And yeah, it would be cool. It wouldn't be my first choice to place to go, but hey, I'm going someplace, again, it is what you make of it. It's a place I've never been. It's a place never ever, go again. So, here I am. And now it's again, we're back on the decision bus and it's hotels are crazy expensive because there's none left, because it's so last minute. And airfare is to be expected, expensive. But yeah, like, so it's definitely a challenge trying to wrap my brain around all that amidst everything else going on in my life. And then it's like, oh, we're here now. So, you're across the world. Why don't we go do this and this and this? And then, in one way it makes so much sense. And in another way it doesn't. And yeah, so I'm not 1,000% exactly sure on how the next week is going to play out. I hope that when I get home today from the gym, which I've been going back and forth about, like, should I go? Should I not go? I'm like, but I have to do my steps anyway, so I might as well get my steps done while I'm listening to music with some really cool people. But, again, that's, 1 hour that's just monopolized with driving, and, like, that fact isn't lost on me. So again, there's a dance class that's just began, that's here in town that I could always attend. That would be 1 hour and I get my steps and I'm one and done, like not a 2-hour swing. But I think that for me, especially if I'm not going to be here next week, it is important for me to keep doing that. So, I was thinking about habits and, how, there's this saying about how, it's 8 days or 15 days or 20, like I've heard so many different things on how many days it takes to make a habit. And when I first started my weight loss journey and my health journey, I really counted on that because it was so challenging, right? Like everything I knew, every soda, every cookie, every ability to eat at any hour, every, choice to just relax all day and not necessarily relax, but not be active, let's say. I knew how to do that really well. Like I was a pro at that. And then shifting to a place where for me, again, like I say, now my eating menu is wide open. But as I navigated what would work for me, like I didn't wake up and have this plan and like, today I am going to be the one that's going to intermittent fast and I'm going to walk and I'm going to do, like, all these things kind of built upon each other and came out very organically. And so what really started it was the 1 block walk, right? Like, so it's just taking those little walks and that little action and doing it consistently and like celebrating the fact that I would do it, like really appreciating and being like, oh my gosh, I did that. Really noticing how my body felt, even if it was sometimes really sore, but like it was sore in a good way. Like I did that. And as a result, my muscles are working. Like that is proof that this is working. Even though it's only a 1 block walk, like it is still having an effect on me because I have only walked less than 1,000 or sometimes a little bit over 1,000 steps a day. My body's like, okay, so yeah, that's going to cause some, we're waking up some muscles that have been asleep and dormant for years and years. So it took a real long time for that habit to stick. And I don't think there was a magic number. It wasn't like all of a sudden day 9, day, 19, day 29, I was like, yay, it's a habit, because what is a habit? A habit is something like we do and we don't even think about. It's just natural. It just happens, right? Like it's just a habit. Like now I get up and make my bed. It's never, ever, ever a choice. Like, it's never like a thought like, should I make my bed today or not? It's not that indecision. And it's crazy because there's never a question of if I should do my steps. There's sometimes a question if I can do my steps, right? Like whether it be my schedule, like time wise, whether it be physically, my body is in, a certain state and a certain thing that it's going through. Or sometimes it's mentally, like I'm just drained or I'm just sad or I'm just whatever I am. And it sometimes then those challenges may make it a question, but usually 99% of the time, it's not a question of if I'm going to do it. It's when, how, and what I'm going to do in order to get to that 20,000. So like today, I have done this so many times that I know, hey, this is about how many, roughly how many steps I get per dance class. And so I walk up to that, or run or whatever I'm doing up into that point, and then I go on with my day. Again, meditation, that's like another thing. It's something that I really have wanted to incorporate, and I found challenging to really get into my schedule. I have, done it in different various forms. I've done it in different positions. Like for me personally, waking up and then taking a shower and then laying back down to meditate, that doesn't work. I'm now tired again. Like I'm ready for sleepy time. So like I have found a squat on the wall kind of position that challenges me. And it is something that like now my body knows when I'm in this position, it's meditation time. It's not sleepy time afterwards, any of that. Same goes with my gratitude. You like that word? Gratitude? No, gratitude gushings jar. Right? Like so many different times in my life, I've journaled about my gratitude. I've written them on my phone. I've written them on paper. I've just thought about them. And, because sometimes that's just enough. It's okay to be just thinking about the things that you're grateful for. I mean, it's the action of thinking about it that's important. And for me, ending my day remembering something that was spectacular. So now I look over at my jar and here we are, like, June, what are we looking at here? June 7th, so I have over a half a year's worth of things in there, little papers with words talking about things that I was really grateful for. Even when I go out of town, I'll write it down on someplace else, or I'll remember so that I can reflect on it and write it when I return back home. So there is a piece of paper in there, unless I've really forgot a day or something, for every single day this year. And that has become a habit. Yeah, my environment is primed. I see the jar. I see the colorful stickies. I see the gold pen that my uncle gave me next to it. I see where the new color notepads are. Like I am creating an environment for success. Same goes with my running. I have my indoor shoes in my room. I have, my workout clothes on. It's not like I'm in a dress, which I love dresses. I love putting on a skirt and dress. I love wearing other things other than my workout clothes. But when I'm in this outfit, my body is primed. My mind is primed to say, it's workout time. It's time to move your body. And when I take it off and I put something else, it's time to relax. It's time to have fun. And it doesn't mean I can't relax or have fun in this, because like I said, I just took a nap, but it's like, when I'm in this, it just makes it so much easier to do the things that I want to do, which happens to be getting my steps. And so I think there's such this critical component of knowing that, number one, if we want change, it is possible, right? Like we just have to have some kind of a plan and forward progress. And it doesn't have to be an elaborate plan. The plan can be as simple as like, I want to get healthy. I'm not sure how to do this. I'm not sure what my body's going to respond to. That's all hypothetical. But if we get going and we get trying, we can see. So for me personally, I was seeing results doing a 1-block walk because I was feeling things, right? But I wasn't seeing the results I really wanted in the pace I wanted. And so by changing that plan again, by adapting, by pivoting and saying, okay, we're going to walk a little bit further, and taking that to another degree and making sure, for me personally, I was like, let me challenge myself more. I'm going to try to do some hills on the way up. And then obviously there's not hills on the way down. So I'm going to, go take it easy. But doing that extra bit of challenge to my body was really beneficial. And I started seeing again, because then I was a slave to the scale. I was using this to measure and gauge if I was moving that needle, not forward, because I really wanted to move the needle back, but it was technically forward, but I was moving the needle back, if the number was going down. And there were so many days because I was dependent upon this biofeedback. I wasn't just listening to my body or just feeling, I wear workout clothes. They have elastic. So they fit me on my plump days and they fit me on my thin days. Like it's like, maybe sometimes I'm like, oh, it's a little bit, but that's something probably I can notice, right? Like, but, I was dependent on seeing what the scale was. I mean, there were some days, I think I hopped on that scale like 15, 20 times. Sometimes it was to celebrate and be like, yes, this is my number. And other times it was like, I just went pee, let's go see if I lost weight. And so that's why for me personally, the victory of having this decision to say, yes, that scale was a pivotal tool for me for 120 pounds. but I just can't see it being a healthy tool for me for the rest of my life in this kind of maintenance phase. Now, again, yeah, maybe I can say I still would like to look maybe different, or there's things I would like to change about my physical appearance. I can nitpick again. Like I said, I was 300 pounds for over 20 years. I housed 4 beautiful, intelligent, creative beings in this body. My body is its own, has its own makeup thanks to the DNA I've inherited and the choices I made. And so, yes, I have a sagging apron belly, and that's frustrating on some senses because, I work really hard, and I understand from a medical perspective that the body that I've worked for is still hidden beneath a bunch of skin and tissues. But I'm also really appreciated for the way this body shows up and is here. Now, if I opt to do something down the line in the future, we shall see. I don't know. It's not a top priority. There are minutes when I did a deep dive for a long time and was like, yeah, like I want to do this. But then when I think about it and thinking about breaking my routines that fill me with joy. Like today, I was feeling tired and sluggish until I ran. I felt really good. And then I was like, let me eat. And then I'll, get going on the work. And then I just felt even more tired at that point. I ate really healthy, except for my treats at the end, because every day I have my treats. But it was, I think, just definitely listening to my body and saying my body was tired. But anyways, I say all that to say, there are certain tools and habits we have in our life that are beneficial in that season, in that phase, during that time. But then there comes a time where we have to acknowledge that perhaps this tool, this device, this way of doing things is no longer serving us, and it's time to say goodbye to it, just as I did with the scale. And so, I just had an MRI done the other day, and they're like, how much do you weigh? And I'm like, I don't know. I would guess somewhere between these two numbers. And it's just such an interesting question to me. And yeah, there is some curiosity if it's brought up, but it's never like something I'm sitting there like, I wonder how much I weigh, and it doesn't change a damn thing. Except for just sometimes knowing things changes something, right? So I go get an MRI, I have an x-ray, because I'm trying to figure out what is this pain. I've been having this pain for 20 plus years, and when I was overweight, it was understandable. Like, I put my body through a lot. I had kids. I held them on my hip. I held this one. I'm holding 2 kids at a time while stirring the mac and cheese. Like, there was a lot going on. And, but once I shrunk in stature, I really had hoped and anticipated that this pain would kind of slow down or go away, right? And it would have been like a pleasant side effect. And there are days when it has, but there are days when it is flared and pissed off. And it makes it excruciating. I've talked about it here, that there's days that it's so bad that I was like, I don't know if I can do my steps. And then push myself through, take like 6 hours to do something I could typically do in 1 to 2. And, at the end of the day, thought, oh, I would feel so happy because I did it, and I didn't. I just felt like miserable because I was so like, I still feel bad. Like, I still feel hurting, and, and then at that point I could lay down and rest and know I did it. I didn't have it consumed in my mind like, maybe I still should do it, maybe So, but yeah, so, it's like I find out like, okay, I have mild, they give me one diagnosis. I'm not, the MRI hasn't been interpreted or read or anything, but just from my x-ray, I have mild scoliosis and degenerative diseases of the spine, whatever these words are. And you want to believe it doesn't have an effect on you. It doesn't, like you're tough and it's not going to affect you, but it does. Like, and I look at it as like, I want to know out of a curious form. Like, I don't want to use it as like, I can't do this, I got this scoliosis or something. Like, that's not the objective for me. I'm not looking for excuses. I'm looking for reasons why something is happening in order for me to address it. right? Like, and sometimes addressing it, maybe doing physical therapy, maybe bracing, I'm just totally, it could be chiropractic, it could be laying off of certain activities, but to know and have knowledge with curiosity, not just to be like, oh, yep, here's something else wrong with me. It's really a curious, intent behind it. But knowing it is like, okay, it makes sense, like why I sit this way, or why I do this, or it makes sense why my hip hurts. And when you read about it, you're like, yes, people are experiencing these same things, which makes sense. My body isn't even, and that's why it's heavily dominated on that right side, and my legs asleep when I'm dancing and things like that. And it obviously affects the quality of my life, but it has always been there. It's been this nagging injury, or whatever. I don't even know if it's an injury, but like this nuisance that has been on my spine. So it is what it is. But I do believe that sometimes there is like that whole almost like placebo effect, like, right? Like, now I know something, and it alters you, it changes you. Even though you don't think it does, it has an impact. So, I think about habits. And so, again, like that makes me think about my habits, like the way I sit in a car, the way I sit, like perhaps, maybe I can, sit more this way or do these things now that I'm conscious and aware of something that's always been there. It doesn't change anything. It's like, okay, now I have words to what I'm experiencing, but it doesn't mean I'm any different than I was before I knew the words or before I knew the diagnosis. I'm still me. And so I think we need to give ourselves a lot of grace when it comes to changing our lives, right? So we have to have a plan, and the plan can be as simple as I want to change. That can be the plan. Like, it doesn't have to be this, 15 bullet assignment with subtitles and sub this, and this is what we're going to do on Monday, Tuesday. Like, no, that the plan is, I want to change. I'm going to change. We can figure out all the rest along the way. These are the things that worked. Intermittent fast worked for me, and a 1 block walk that rolled into a 20,000 steps a day personal goal. And that's me. That's how my progression is. That's how I can maintain my body and the lifestyle I would choose to. There are times that I'm like, hey, I can eat less and not eat all my sweets and be cool at 10 to 15,000 steps. But I also get a lot of dopamine hits, and I get a lot of like mental clarity and space when I do have my step time. That is my time I journal. That is my time I write. It is a time that like I get to just kind of silence what's going on outside. There's not usually music. There isn't usually TV. Typically it's me and my phone writing. And it really helps. Like today, like I said, I was feeling really stressed and really, anxious by this overwhelming sense and feeling of so many things that I have neglected and are slipping through the cracks, and I have yet to get to, while I'm incorporating all these new things that I do want to get to, or the squeaky wheel that needs the oil, or the shiny new object. And so really learning how to balance and say, I see this new habit I enjoy doing has really exasperated my habit of like, if I don't know how to do something, or it's not easy sometimes, like I forget to do them. Sometimes I just delay doing them. I push it off. Like I just don't want to think about it. So that brings it up, and me keep hiding and dodging from it. It doesn't make it go away. It's still sitting inside of me, and I'm like, you got to do this. It's still running on repeat way back here. So, but it does make me aware, hey, this is a blind spot. This is a weak spot. Perhaps I can hire somebody else on. Perhaps I can delegate this to somebody else who can and enjoys doing these things. Whereas for me, it's really painful, it's really hard, and I'm not sure, and it causes me a lot of stress. The whole point here is to live the best version of myself. Is your, whole mission is to live as the best version of yourself. And us being stressed out about stuff that we did or didn't do, to me, doesn't sound like being the best version of me, right? Like when I'm feeling angst and I'm feeling stress, like it has a different energy than when I'm coming into something calm and confident and controlled. So I say all that to say, I think that when it comes to this notion of habits, that it takes a long time. There's no magic number. It's not like day 10 you did it and now, you're never going back to who you were. No, perhaps for you it's day 100, day 500. It could be day 5. And if it is, great. Like, if you're able to get up and do whatever this new changed life thing without even thinking it, without questioning it, bravo to you. Like, bravo to you. Because I just understand that it's not that easy. And I understand that in my flight, and I even say make my bed because it's right here, right? Like, so it's across from me. I can see it. It's a visual, cue to me. But there were days that, like, all of a sudden I came home, like, in the beginning, and I was like, oh my gosh, I just totally forgot to make my bed. Like, I literally got up and just left the room and never came back in, and it didn't even dawn on me. But that was far and few between, and that was in the beginning. Right. And once I, and then there were times in the beginning where I negotiated, like, really doesn't matter. I mean, I'm getting back in the bed anyways. Like, who cares if it's me? Nobody's even coming in here. I'm not in here. Like, nobody else is coming here. Why do I care? But after I found my why, after I understood from hearing that one book, really put it like in a way that it was like, yeah, that is a victory. Every time I look at my bed, consciously and subconsciously, I'm like, I did something. I changed who I was. Natasha was a girl who got out of bed and didn't make it. And now she has decided that that was no longer working for her. That in order to show up as the best version of herself, she needed to make her bed. Because making her bed symbolized so much more than a beautiful bed with properly chopped pillows. A made bed proved I can change. A made bed is a celebration of a choice and a right decision that put my day on this trajectory of, accomplishment and success. And hearing that if everything else in the day fails, which there's no day that everything else is going to fail, but let's say every single thing else went wrong in that day, at least I can go back and say, but I made my bed. I made my bed. My bed is made. And if I have nothing else to be grateful for, which up until this day, I have never got to it, like, say, I could at least, at the very least, say, I made my bed. I made my bed. And it seems so simple, right? It seems so simple, but it wasn't always easy. And now it is. It is a habit. I understand the why. I understand the importance for me. And so doing it is a non-negotiable, as is with my steps most days, as is my dance classes. Sometimes, like I say, I get tired like now and I'm like, do I go? Do I not go? Like, and it's not like if I don't go, I still don't have to do my steps. It's like, well, you still got to do your steps. So you might as well go shake your booty and get them out that way. So I say all this to say, I believe in you. I really do. And I think a lot of times, like, the concepts are so simple, but we don't make it easy on ourselves. We create these stories and these narratives about how and where and why change occurs. But really, it just takes a thought and forward action. And so I believe in you. I believe that if there's something you want to change, maybe you want to change your hair. Maybe you want to change, where you live. Maybe you want to change the fact that you always think about traveling, but you never do it. Whatever it is, you want to change your job, your relationships, the way you talk to yourself, which hand you use to brush your teeth. Whatever it is you want to change, it is possible. But it is a challenge, right? You're learning a new skill. You're creating a new habit. And sometimes it happens overnight, and other times it takes a real long time. So if you keep trying, even when it's really hard and you're not understanding, you could start the same journey at the same time as somebody else and see, oh my gosh, they're making all this progress and I'm over here like still on the struggle bus. There's resistance, and that's okay. That's quite okay. But you keep getting up and you keep going. And one day you'll find you're going to create this environment. Your brain wants to succeed. Your body wants to succeed. Your heart and soul, they want to succeed. So then if you start building and creating this environment around this changed version of you that does this particular, habit or activity or event, whatever it is, your brain will start to help you. It will work with you. Like I say, for me, it could be as simple as priming my environment, having my pillows in certain spaces to make it easier to make my bed, having the Post-it notes, having the jar, having the toothbrush on the left-hand side, priming my environment, having the camera ring where I could just pull it out and set it up and go. So I say all this to say, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you. I adore you. I think you're amazing, and you are so capable of every change you want to make. Stick with it. Understand there's nothing wrong with you if the change hasn't stuck in day 1 or even day 100. It will come. Think about just moving a little bit today. Your goal today is to be just a little bit better than you were yesterday, to be a little bit closer to where you want to be the person you want to be who does these certain things than you were yesterday. Just keep it simple, keep it little, and make it so easy on yourself. So I say all that to say, I adore you. I believe in you. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you can do me one huge favor, go out there, give somebody a big smile, give them a compliment, and just watch how they glow up. So thank you.